Hey everyone, it's been, a few weeks since I made a video, and of course, all my latest videos have been about Sailor Moon, so this one is no different in that regard. I wanted to make this one about Sailor Moon Crystal, episode 2, the introduction of Ami, Sailor Mercury, um, which I loved a lot more compared to the original 90s anime episode introduction to her, because the 90s anime, why I love it, that episode, it seemed very one sided. I mean, like, it seemed like Usagi did not care about Ami whatsoever in that episode. While this episode, it does a lot to, it shows a lot of it from Ami's perspective, which it shows us that, she's smart, she's quiet, she studies a lot, and then some guy is in the background are talking about how she's so smart and how she never hangs out with anyone, and then we see that she's lonely. From and then when she looks at Usagi hanging out with Naru and some of their other friends, she you know it shows that she really just wants friendship. Um, so as the episode goes on, we see Usagi talking about her first battle experience with the Dark Kingdom, even though she doesn't know what they're called yet. They call them the Evils, or the Evil. Um, they show that Luna, when she goes to bed, Luna's researching possible people that might be the other Sailor Guardians, and Ami turns out to be one of those people. So Luna turns out is watching her, which compared to the '90s anime episode of, you know, um, Luna was investigating Ami, but she was jumping to the conclusion that Ami is, a Dark Kingdom monster. She didn't consider that she might be a Sailor Guardian. Whereas this one, she's considering her as a Sailor Guardian, so she's actually doing the research before jumping to conclusions. Usagi, when they were finally introduced to each other, Usagi, at first, she's thinking about using her just as a tutor for math and all that. In the 90s anime, it seemed like she did not care about Ami at all. Like, it seemed like she was going to use her all the way through. Whereas this one, it shows that at first, yeah, she was going to use her, but after spending some time with her at the arcade, she started to think of her as a friend, and then later on, when she goes to invite her out to ice cream, Ami at this point in the episode, um, for anyone who hasn't seen, this is going to be spoilers, but for everyone that's seen, this is not no spoiler because this has been adapted. This was in the manga, it was adapted in the '90s anime and the live action series. She goes to that crystal seminar, and um, the monster pretending to be the teacher tells her to use the disc, which puts her in a brainwashed state, and it triggers after Usagi invites her out to ice cream. So she notices that, and when Luna comes over, of course they talk like, "I wonder what's wrong." So Usagi finds out that she left that crystal disc on the media center counter, and they're right there by the computer. So she takes it. On her way home, she bumps into Mamoru, or Darien, Tuxedo Mask, again in this episode, and he notices the cat Luna talking, and they of course they run away before he can ask more questions. And if it's not clear to everyone by now, he has his own agenda pretty much. Like, it seemed like he would just show up randomly in the old anime, but in the manga, he was actually looking for the Silver Crystal just as much as Sailor Moon and her team in the Dark Kingdom. Um, but of course, the anime did not show that until almost halfway through the first season of the '90s series. Whereas this one, right from the beginning, they tell you that he's looking for the Silver Crystal. And the thing about the Silver Crystal is, you know, he's looking back for it to give to the Moon Princess, which, and that's the same reason everyone else, Sailor Moon's team is looking for it, but the Dark Kingdom wants it for their own ambitions. Um, yes, they do steal energy, but that is not the main focus. And that was a lot of the filler of the '90s, like where they would just that Monster of the Day format where they showed them stealing energy, and yeah, they did to get more power, but they made that the focus in the old anime, whereas this one it's more of a side thing. If they steal the energy, they steal it. If not, they go for other things. In this case, they're looking for the silver crystal, and that's what the focus was. So Tuxedo Mask shows up wherever it might possibly appear, and he knows to go where the Dark Kingdom is usually targeting, because wherever they target is potentially where the silver crystal might be. In this case, but anyway, back to Ami. She got brainwashed. Usagi found the disc and she went to do some investigating with her laptop. And anyone who uses plays video games nowadays, we all know how to use a computer basically, so it shows that they're really up to speed with technology here. And Usagi, like, she even admits herself that she has no idea what she's doing, but the girl's in trouble and she wants to save her. So she says, she's gonna randomly press buttons on the computer or her laptop, hoping to find something, and she activates the subliminal track that's on the disc. And the reason she wasn't, susceptible to the mind control was because when her brooch was glowing in the first episode, that was her power as Sailor Moon awakening. That was her, her time of need. So she had awakened as Sailor Moon. So that's why Ami was susceptible, because her power had not yet awakened until that moment where she screams out, stop it, to help Usagi. Her transformation, it looked amazing. I think like her dance was more or less the same as the old anime, but the CGI I think gave that water effect a nice touch, and the other nice touches about it were the blue nail polish and the fact that they show her tiara materialize in the transformation. To add a bit more to it, I think that makes it really stand out. Another thing about it was when they transform, I like how they show that their planet in the background. It makes it seem like they're drawing power from their planet, so it feels more hero-like. Also, we got to see Ami's Aqua Mist power, which is in the manga, but it was not used in the '90s anime. And it was used in the live-action series a lot, but or at least once. But we got to see it in this series, and that's good. Hopefully she uses some of her other powers. But this was a great introduction to her. Like, shows that she was, when she met Usagi, she was lonely, and she was like, wow, I might actually have a friend now. So before she found out she was Sailor Mercury, what that pen meant to her was like, this is the day I got a friend, and this is a very important moment, because this is when we really became close. Because in Japan, unless you're really close to someone, you do not call them out by their first name. You usually call them by their last name. So that's why Ami kept saying Tsukino-san instead of Usagi-chan. Because, she didn't think she was her friend at first. And then when she heard friend, she started calling her Usagi-chan first. But, Ami's very polite. She kind-hearted. And she's also very shy. So that's why she has that baggy sweater, and which is in the manga, and the glasses are in the manga too, but she uses them for reading, so when she's not reading, she doesn't wear them. But when she's reading, you're going to see her wear them. But she, she's very shy. Like, when her and Usagi first start talking, she goes to give Luna to Usagi, and you can see that she's doing it very shy, like she's holding up, like, "I'm sorry, here's your cat." So she does that, and when Usagi picks up Luna, she gets like a nostalgic flashback, like a quick moment, and she thinks, "Huh? Did I just daydream?" Like you could see in her expression. But you know, later, eventually, she's gonna learn what it means, as the rest of the girls will learn. So, and if this is going to seem repetitive, just bear with it because we only got two more girls to go through with this. The reason I say two more is because we got Ray, you know, Sailor Mars coming up in the next episode, and then Sailor Jupiter might take a few more episodes because, and even in the manga, it took some time for her to show up because she didn't show up until she had gotten transferred to Usagi and Ami's school from whatever school she was in before, since she had been expelled for fighting, of course, because you know she's the fighter of the group, like the real brute strength. So, you know, we gotta bear with that because when their objects glow and the symbols appear on their forehead, that means that their powers are awakening as Sailor Guardians. So that's why those things happening are very iconic to the series, because that shows that's when they gain their powers. You know, like any kind of superhero show would show. Like they have some way of showing that that's how they gain their powers. That's when they gain them. Um, and and this is not a spoiler by any means what I'm about to say, but this does relate to the series. It should be no secret that Sailor V is Sailor Venus because this was in all the other adaptations of of Sailor Moon. So, and not to mention her face, her hairstyle, Sailor Venus. Look at Sailor Venus's character design and look at Sailor V, you can tell it's the same person. And the reason she's already a Sailor is because her journey started a year before Sailor Moon started hers. Because, you know, there's two cats, Luna and Artemis. Artemis is the white cat and Artemis is a boy. He found Sailor Venus a year before Luna found Sailor Moon. So that's why Sailor V is so popular in the series, and there's the video game about her and everything. Because, you know, all that comes from the manga. And so we're not going to have to see her power awaken, but we do have to get introduced to her as the character. Anyway, I think the episode turned out great. I mean, I liked how, you know, they showed that it wasn't one-sided. They showed Ami's perspective, they showed Usagi's perspective, and then they showed all these little things in between. Yeah, the animation could have been better, but it wasn't entirely bad. Like, it was kind of sloppy at times. Like, you could see there were scenes that were done really nicely, and then there were other parts that looked like they were just rushed. But hopefully, you know, the other episodes turn out looking very much amazing. Expect maybe one looking a bit sloppy here and there, but that's expected in a lot of anime. So don't take that too harshly, but you know, they should really work on that. Anyway, I really enjoyed the episode, and you know, comment, rate, do whatever, but I think, you know, share your thoughts. I think the episode turned out great. A lot better than the 90s one, definitely. You know, the way the plot development, the character development, because we're already seeing Usagi develop as a character. Like, yeah, she did some childish things, but at the same time, she also did some very much, you know, smart things that in a more mature manner. Like when she disguises herself, she did to go into the the school. She didn't have to do that, but she did it pretending to be a doctor, and then she also, you know, she knew Ami was in trouble, and she herself took the initiative. She didn't wait for Luna to tell her to do it, and she genuinely cared about Ami. That was another major thing in this one, is she took the initiative. She showed that she really cared about this person as a friend, and And this person in return helped her out. And Tuxedo Mask, he saved her, but given her situation, you can't blame her for being saved. I mean, she was practically glued to the wall with all these papers. For all we know, it could have been fly paper that the monster materialized to throw at her. Um, but yeah, she's very. Sailor Moon was merciless with her boomerang attack. Anyway, I've did enough talking. Comment, rate, do whatever, and have a nice day, y'all. Bye.